Hey mamas, welcome back to this channel. If you're new here, my name is Bukola and I talk about faith, motherhood and finding joy in everyday life. Today, I want to speak straight to the heart of a tired mom, the overwhelmed mom, the mom living in comparison and just wondering whether she's doing enough. This one is about contentment in motherhood, in the chaos, and how God meets us right in the middle of our mess. Motherhood can feel like a never ending loop of noise, mess, and unmet needs, including yours. There are days when you can barely find time to pray, or days when your toddler spills juice on the floor right after you just cleaned, or days when your newborn won't sleep unless you hold them, or days when you can't hang out with those friends, or days when you can't buy those stuffs anymore because you have more mouths to feed. But here's the truth. I want to remind you of the fact that chaos does not cancel God's presence. Paul says in Philippians 4:11-13, "Have learned to be content, whatever the circumstances. I've learned the secret of being content in any and every situation. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me." Paul wrote this from the prison, and that just shows that God can give us the grace to be content in any situation we find ourselves in. Hebrews 13:5 says, "Be content with what you have, for he has said, I will never leave you nor forsake you." One of the key to contentment is not looking back and wishing things were better. Sometimes when I look at my life, I think 1,000 ways things could have been better. If probably I had a better childhood, if probably I did this, I did that, if probably I read that course, maybe I won't be where I am. But I have just seen that God is with me where I am at such a perfect time as this for the best reason known to Him. And I surrender my life to Him and trust Him through my season. Another important key is acceptance. God is sovereign, and if He allows it, He has a plan. And it's not for me to know that plan. It is none of my business. My business is to submit, to surrender to God and His will, and trust His word that He is with me and that He will not forsake me. Another key importance is gratitude. Living in the present moment, not looking back at what could have been better, or even looking forward to things that could be better. We find ourselves sometimes saying, "Oh, okay, we're at this situation now, but once my kids grow up, but once this, but once I get that job." But no, we are not looking forward, we are not looking back. We are living the present moment and trusting God and thanking Him for what is available to us now and making the best out of it. Dear mamas, God is with you in the chaos. God is enough when everything doesn't seem enough for you. Only God can truly satisfy you. Only God can truly satisfy those longings. It is never enough because it is God who is enough. Trust God through your season and be satisfied with whatever it is that you have available to you at this season. Wherever it is that you find yourself in this season, if it is you just being home and taking care of the kids, if it is you having to juggle up work and the kids, whatever space you find yourself, trust God through it and be content with what you have. I know the world says otherwise. I know the world says we should search and do more and work harder and be more and teach our kids to be more. But we don't want to teach our kids the skill of lack of contentment. But instead, we want to initiate them into the skill of contentment, of seeing life and taking it as simple as it can be, because the end The end is not the worldly things, it's not the things we get now, but indeed it is eternity. And that is what we should teach our children to long for. The afterlife. Life doesn't end when we die. And that is what we should long for, being with Christ and sitting down at the feet of our Savior. And that is how and that is how it can be easy for us to be content with what it is that we have here on earth. Because that is not the end. It is not the end. The things that we get is not what satisfies us, but God truly satisfies us. I pray God speaks to your heart today, and God gives you and gives your heart and soul satisfaction even when things don't look like it. I pray you see the good and the legacy that you're leaving behind by cleaning those diapers, folding those laundries, and doing the dishes, and that you see that you are doing it all to the glory of God, and that your children are saying this. And for me too, I pray that indeed when I die, my children will not see YouTube as my legacy, or the house that I leave behind as my legacy, or the clothes or the shoes or the bags or the companies or the things I left behind as my legacy, but indeed they will see that I loved God. I stayed at the feet of the Father. I was contented with whatever God gave me. I rejoiced through every season, and I taught them to love God, to follow Him in spirit and in truth, to make disciples, and to also teach their own children to love God and serve God. And I pray the same for us all. Mamas, enjoy your season. Be content with what you have and what God has made available for you today.